What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success. And if you don't know who I am, I run a Canadian clothing company called K-Bud Apparel that's done well over 6 figures in sales. And so I help other people grow their clothing brands while I'm running my own clothing brand over here. And what I want to share with you are 5 insider tips for startup clothing brands, where I want to share with you tips that you really can't find anywhere else on the internet and that you could only really get from somebody who's truly running their own clothing brand at the same time. So let's get into it. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd. And if you need designs made for your clothing brand, I seriously recommend that you check them out and you give them a shot for the designs of your clothing brand. I'm pulling up an example of a design that I had made through Design Crowd for my own clothing brand that I'll be selling through my website. What you do is you post a project on Design Crowd. Amazing designers from all around the world will compete for your project. You choose the winner, then you get that design. If you're interested, you can head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you, where you can save up to $100 on your project, or simply use the discount code APPAREL when you post a project on Design Crowd. Okay, the first tip that I have for you is to decide right now whether you want to be a t-shirt business or a private label clothing brand. I think that a lot of people who are just getting started in the apparel industry tend to confuse these two things and they don't really know what they are. So I want to break this down really quickly for you so that you can understand the difference and so that you can make a decision here that will really help you commit to a lane and help you get better results for your clothing brand. You see a lot of people sharing ads on, say, Facebook or Instagram where they're just t-shirts that are targeted to a particular niche. And maybe you're coming out with t-shirts that are going to one niche, and then your business is also going to come out with designs that's going after another niche. And you're basically just trying to sell t-shirts through Facebook and through Instagram, which is completely cool. That's definitely a great method of, selling clothing online, but it's not the same as actually trying to start a clothing brand, where you need those celebrity and influencer endorsements. You need that social proof. You need that deep story behind your brand, and you need to have your brand concept truly aligned, cohesive, where all of your brand colors are working together and things like that, okay? And what I want you to do right now is basically just decide which of these two things you're going for, because this will really help you when it comes to what you need to do moving forward to get the best results possible for your clothing brand. If you're a t-shirt business, then you can really just focus on your designs and focus on your Facebook targeting. Because if you're targeting people, say, that like the movie Back to the Future with designs that are around Back to the Future, I know it's probably copyright, you can't use that. But just as an example, then basically you don't necessarily need that social proof to sell, because your t-shirt is going to be so perfectly aligned with somebody who's interested in that exact thing, and you're going to be able to sell like that. But if you're building up a brand that's completely new and unique, then you're going to have to acquire that social proof. You're going to have to get people bought in to your whole movement, and that requires a whole different set of skills, which is basically, building that foundation, getting your brand concept right, working on your website to have your story and everything work cohesively. And so making that decision is really, really important. I suggest that you do it right now. The second tip that I have for you, that I'm worried will be the most underrated tip in this video, that I really suggest you put in place and you try this for yourself, because it's probably the biggest insight that I've had over the past 6 months for my clothing brand, is to showcase designs in your ads that have intrinsic marketing power. What I mean by this is that, for my own clothing brand, we have something like 60 products. And some of the products that we have are just some of those like really chill products that are just, our brand logo on them, and they sell really well through our website. But they don't have that shareable factor. They don't have that quality that makes people want to tag their friends and things like that. And so when it comes to what you're showing in your ads to your audience, you want to be showcasing products, if you have them, that have that intrinsic marketing power. And I wore this tank top in this video for this particular reason, because we have this tank here that says, "Oh for sure, bud," which is basically Canadian slang for like, oh for sure, bud. And this tank, when we put it inside of an ad targeting cold traffic, tends to sell really, really well to our audience, because people are sharing it, they find it really funny, and they find it particularly like attention grabbing and like, oh, this is just too ridiculous, I want to share this with my friends. Then when they come to our website, they find all of our chiller products, the things that, they'd also want to buy and maybe add to cart as well. So that's just a tip that I have for you. If you have products like that, try and showcase those ones the most inside of your ads targeting cold traffic, because those ones will get the most amount of shares, the most amount of tags, and get you the best results. The third tip that I have for you is to create a unique looking website. There are so many people going online right now, starting their own clothing brands, and they're all using the same exact Wix and Shopify templates to build their websites. And you definitely don't want your website to be bunched in with all these other websites that are starting up. There's literally like thousands of websites that all look the exact same. They have the exact same template that they're following. The disclaimer here is that when you decide to go unique, whatever it is that you decide to do with your website, it also obviously has to be user-friendly, where the shopping experience is really good, and there aren't just things all over the place and it's like way too overly creative where they can't literally add to cart and things like that, okay? But really spend some time taking your favorite things from your favorite websites and just playing around with them on your website to really give your own website this very unique vibe, and that will really help create a much better first impression from people coming across your website for the first time. The fourth tip that I have for you here is don't be shy on social media. I think way too many people just kind of sit back and expect people to find their clothing brand, and everything has moved online. What once was, walking up to strangers in the street and sharing with them what you had to offer is now online on social media, where you can engage with people and basically show your brand to complete strangers. The catch here is that you don't want to be spammy while you're doing this. And the one thing worse than being too shy on social media right now is where you're coming across as too spammy. And this is where you see people, commenting on every one of your posts. It's like, hey, I sent you a direct message, answer it. Or, I'm trying to sell this thing, and they're like commenting in your comments, and it's like, oh man, it's just too much. You obviously know that they have an agenda. What you want to do is literally just engage with people, drop the right amount of likes, drop the right amount of engagement on their pictures that's genuine, where you're actually giving them a compliment, and don't expect anything in return. But if you just do that enough, people are going to check you out and they may actually be interested in buying your clothing. You can also, in the direct messages, don't be too pushy and try and sell too hard, but definitely spend time engaging with people, and don't be shy, because if you just hold back, then really nothing is going to happen, and you almost have to be willing to experience every once in a while somebody saying, yeah, I'm just not interested in this, right? But you have to put yourself out there in order to get any results. The last tip that I have for you here is that the number one asset that you want to be trying to acquire for your clothing brand is social proof. And the reason for this is obviously because we're existing in a world of social media, and social media is exactly that, social. People want to see that your clothing brand has a social aspect to it, where people are wearing it, and not only people are wearing it, but customers are wearing it, really cool people are wearing it, and that's just so unbelievably important for you to showcase to new people coming across your clothing brand, that it's basically the number one factor when it comes to your ability to sell. And so what you want to be doing from the beginning is trying to get pictures of celebrities, influencers, and customers wearing your clothing so that you can showcase them on your social media and on your website. That is basically the game moving forward in 2020, as everything's moving online, and as people can't walk through your store and feel the product quality and things like that. They need to see what your brand's all about on social media, which once again is social. And so there's the importance of the social proof. You just absolutely have to acquire it. And I really hope that these 5 tips helped you grow your clothing brand a lot quicker, a lot better, and helps you get better results and orders coming in on a regular basis. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Drop your brand down there as well. I like to check out the brands that are watching. And if you haven't already, check out my clothing brand marketing masterclass. It's 100% free to watch. All you have to do to get access is go to apparelsuccess.com/masterclass. You can watch the whole thing for free. And if you've made it to this point in the video, I want to tell you about the closed Facebook group that we have for Apparel Success. There's a link in the description. Follow that link, join us in the group, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.